Thanks for staying with us.
So I like how we have used other countries to buttress our examples. Rwanda is there. We talked about Miriam just talked about America and how they were able to erase. And it's not just America. Even our own colonial masters, the British. People are beginning to unearth some of the things that they did here that was erased. Many of their people. We took last week 2 funny presenters were talking about how they brought education and sanitation, blah 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 blah, to Africa, and we talked about it. Those were the sort of things that they had intentionally put in their own history that made them believe that this is what their people have done. So the difference between those countries and we now is intentionality. We need to first of all know what we want to achieve. What is the goal of this country? What is the vision for this country? How do we want to tell our stories? If we don't have, if the government of the day does not have an intention on where they want Nigeria to be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, in the next 20 years, our children will sit down and still be having this conversation because there's no trajectory, there's no roadmap to where we are going to. The difference between us and those countries is that for a very long time, they knew what they had in mind. They knew how they wanted to rip off the world and how they wanted to change the story so that they are not held accountable for their actions. We pray and we say, their forefathers, we see all their own forefathers and ancestors as good people, and all our own ancestors and forefathers are the evil ones that kill twins. And
our village people. Our
village people, that's the story that they have given to us, and we are helping them further push that narrative. Now we need to sit back and ask ourselves, where are we going as a nation? How do we want to tell our stories? How do we want to tell our truth? How do we start telling the truth? Where will it get us to in the next 5, 10, 20 years? We need a team of people in the government to begin to think forward, futuristic thinking. That's what we need. Or else, like I said, next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, we're still asking ourselves, let's sit down now. Let's have this conversation now. Let's apologize to one another, because there is no direction on where we're going to. It has to be clear.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because our government is not really in a continuum, every administration comes, they do their bit. Another administration comes, they want to scatter. Because there is no roadmap to the collective good of the people, we will keep having this.
Obiajulu, there cannot be a collective roadmap, because for there to be a collective roadmap, our eye will have cleared. And since our eye is not clearing and it's not showing signs, because let me tell you something. I was watching this guy's show yesterday, and Agbakoba, what's his name, was talking about how we don't progress. We're not thinking progressively. Look, we have mineral resources in this country. Do you know that we don't need the Ibora at all?
We don't, sir.
We don't. If we decide, let us look. Because he was talking about how Dubai, 25 years ago, we were borrowing their money. Now we are the ones going there, and running there, and see the development.
See Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traore. See what he's doing with their gold. Did you see the gold mines? They don't have the machines. They don't even need these foreign machines. These guys are they shovel from the groundless part. You shovel up. Next person shovels up. Next person shovels up. They don't even need the foreign machines.
It's one man now.
They're doing it. This is just one man with a vision. That's it. So that drastic measure is like, you know what, France, we are cutting you off. The whole ECOWAS would have thought he will leave ECOWAS. Do you know what ECOWAS is? He says, I'm out, because these are decisive actions.
Do you know
what
ECOWAS to be? That's the question. Do you know what they made ECOWAS to be? It's about perception.
ECOWAS is not what Nkrumah wanted it to be.
It's not it.
So the point I'm trying to make actually is that for Nigeria to move forward is that decisive action of leadership, where we are intentional about seeing how we can unearth the hurts, face it, discuss it, acknowledge it, then restitute. After which, people can now do, I am part of this union. There are groups that don't feel they are part of this union. They're just here, So people must feel that we are part of this union. Until we do that, when any politician comes from somebody in the minority state that comes and is a leader, we see him first as a Nigerian.
Before
from a minority. He's a Nigerian, wants to lead us. We're not worried about who has the majority. No, he's smart, he's competent, he's feisty, he's the kind of person that we need. We put him on. We don't care, because we faced our differences.
if then what some people have been saying about indigene or indigenous, we should stop that.
Yes.
Where you come from in Nigeria should not matter. Yes. Where you have stayed and lived for a minimum of 10 to 15 years, that should matter. Yeah. What do you think about that?
What do I say? Let me try to say that. As much as I get that, but we don't want to erode the history of the people either. Because even though I believe that, yes, I might have moved into the north, I live here, and now I am now a northerner. But there is the indigenes who still also retain their history. Yeah. So anybody I come in there understanding, because I'm pledging allegiance to that history. If you come to the United States, once you now become an American citizen, they give you pledge allegiance to who we are. You can't say, oh, because we're Africans, we walk around with nakedness, I'm going to be walking around naked. You can walk around naked in your country, but in this country, this is how we do it. Yeah. You are pledging allegiance to who they are. So if you're coming to the northern state, you don't come there with your long hair into anywhere, because you know that you have to cover your hair. That is how we do things here. Yeah. So in being, yes, I can become an indigene, but I must not do that without recognizing that there is a history. Yeah. There is a history which I must acknowledge and I can accept. Yeah. That's my own position on that situation. Why
so that we don't lose that history.
You've made me lose my train of thought.
Sorry.
And very
I'm trying to respond to that, because that debate was ongoing during that election period and all that. Yes. So we have to wrap up. We've said quite a bit today. Yeah. But I think in a nutshell, going back to the origin of this conversation, is Peter Obi and the president coming together to say hello at the Vatican, sent quite a bit of mixed feelings, mixed reactions to Nigerians. And we're just discussing how should we react to that. And that led us to various conversations on how politics and religions was used in the last general elections. And we now said, what caused it? And we went from Pentecostalism, we went from enlightenment, we went from politics, we went to different things that could have actually caused the issues of the differences. And we're saying that for us as a nation to move forward, we need to face the issues we've had in the past, confront it, and then rebirth the new Nigeria we all desire. I think that's all we can take on today's show.
Amazing.
Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
I would like to say something.
Have you remembered?
I have said everything that can be said. Right?
No, I was just going to talk about the suit.
Which suit?
All the TV stations were praying, oh, the president was wearing a suit. Me, I don't like the suit.
Sweet, I wish you wore a
He blended with his body too much.
Yes, it's blended. Don't wear the African.
He always wears agbada,
he always wears. That's what I like.
That's what I like about it. We must have our identity.
Somebody advised him to wear suits.
Wear suits.
Who is that person?
Most of the TV stations were saying, oh, he was wearing suits.
That told him,
please don't wear suits.
Next time, please.
Dress like yourself.
Mr. President, there are many things our Nigerian designers are doing for men now in the fashion industry. So I would like to see you in some of those Nigerians.
Yes. It doesn't have to be agbada. It can be from agbada.
No, please. We must show them.
Don't wear suit again, sir. We love you, sir. Don't wear.
Me, actually, don't mind them. The suit, maybe if you have tried a grey suit, maybe.
No,
that black suit just blends.
We need our Nigeria. We need to push our Nigerian identity and say you are our biggest ambassador.
Yes,
and that's what I like to see.
Traditional
no problem. That is all after the fashion advice to Mr. President. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.